The hardest thing about getting laid off, it wasn't just the loss of salary. It just destroys your self-worth, your self-esteem, your confidence. And you think there's something wrong with you or you're broken, but there's nothing wrong with you, right? It's like it took 3 weeks for it to sink in that I was laid off because I'd never been laid off before. It was surreal. It's like if you ever witness a bad car crash, you're like, holy shit, did that just happen? It's like that. I took a week and did all. And if I could share some advice I learned with you, just if you're going through something like that, take a week, a few days, whatever you can, and just do whatever you want to do, right? Sometimes we need that. And then get back into your routine. And the other thing I did that really helped is physical fitness, being physically active, because the better your physical health, the stronger your mental health. And that'll help you weather some of the shit life throws at us. But if you're going through some of that shit, if you need advice or you just need an ear, send me a DM, man.
No one talks the mental impacts layoffs have on you. Like, fine, people have lost their jobs, people have been let go, people have lost their livelihoods. But once again, no one talks about the mental health of people who are laid off. And I think it's quite crucial to talk about things like this because if you've been fired, you know the drill, you know that it hurts, especially if it's like an abrupt firing. It hurts you because you had all these plans and now it's like, okay, now I must pivot, now maybe you had promised someone money, especially like people who have black tax, you must do something for the family and whatnot. It's like, now I have to switch up and tell these people, hey, I can't come through on this because of ABCD. It's really devastating that it comes to that, but we're seeing more and more of this under this administration, that companies can no longer keep afloat, so they have to do like massive layoffs. Let's watch the other clips.
Trump's trade war was presented as a way to bring jobs back to America, but the result turned out very different. Instead of factories returning to the United States, Washington pushed the world toward closer cooperation. Across Asia and beyond, new alliances are forming, while BRICS together with the SCO are building the foundation of a self-sufficient system that can do without the United States. The results are already visible. The American engine of consumption is stalling. Families are spending more but receiving less. At the same time, China, India, and Russia are combining their strengths: labor, industry, and natural resources. Added to this is the rise in gold and silver prices, breaking multi-year records. All this shows that the global financial system is shifting in a new direction. This is not a temporary storm, but structural change capable of reshaping the balance of power for decades. Trump's trade war became the biggest blow to the American economy, a blow it inflicted on itself. What began as protection of workers turned into a global backlash. Tariffs aimed at rivals also hit allies, and cracks spread throughout the system. The numbers speak for themselves. Just a year ago, household consumption in the United States was growing by about 4% on a half-year basis. Today, it has fallen almost to zero. Families pay more for food, fuel, and goods, while their standard of living declines. Prices are rising, but the value of what they get is shrinking. In other words, Americans pay more and receive less. This is not only an American story. The tariffs pushed key partners who had once relied on U.S. protection. The G7 countries now see that loyalty is punished, not rewarded. Canada and Europe pay high tariffs on steel, aluminum, and automobiles. Japan and South Korea face rising costs in microelectronics and shipping. And India, which Washington had tried for years to draw to its side, suddenly faced tariffs of up to 50%. For Delhi, the signal is clear. It is no longer possible to maneuver between the United States and China. When loyalty is punished, there is no point in staying in line. That is why India is drawing closer to Moscow and Beijing, while trust in the United States is declining. As a result, America has been pushed onto the defensive. Abroad, it cannot invest without political risks. At home, it cannot keep prices under control. Competitors are already joining forces. Tariffs were meant to demonstrate power, but only exposed weaknesses. At home, consumption is stagnating, and abroad, allies are leaving. Against this backdrop, a coalition is forming that uses Washington's mistakes by combining labor, production, and resources, creating a new point of equilibrium in world politics. The warm embrace of Narendra Modi and Vladimir Putin sent a clear signal to the world, and India has stopped balancing between Moscow and Washington. This is not just a gesture, In reality, a strategic triangle is taking shape, where India provides labor, Russia raw materials, and China production capacity and logistics. India has the fastest growing labor force. Every year, more than 10 million young professionals enter the labor market, many of them with technical and engineering skills. Russia controls resources no economy can do without: oil, gas, uranium, grain, metals. China adds the entire spectrum of manufacturing, from electronics to solar panels, along with infrastructure that connects Eurasia.
So, you know, something we never talk about is that Trump supporters that own businesses and run businesses will gaslight their employees, just like the sociopath narcissists in the White House. We don't talk about that, do we? We're going to talk about it right now. So tariffs were supposed to be a big boon for manufacturing. American companies were going to be forced to purchase from other American manufacturers so they don't have to pay the tariffs. That would result in an increase in manufacturing output, right? Which isn't happening. And it would have a direct result of jobs being created. That's how we were sold on this. So, American steel, tariffs just hit August 1st. So, that means companies would be buying American-made steel, right? And we'd be hiring steel workers, right? So, why did Dearborn Works in Dearborn, Michigan, owned by Cleveland Cliffs Corporation, just lay off 500 unionized loyal, long-term employees? Huh? They make American steel. Everybody in America that manufactures parts that need steel, we're supposed to be buying from American steel manufacturers like Dearborn Works. Why aren't they hiring a shit ton of employees? Why are they laying people off? Well, here's where the gaslighting comes in. The CFO of Cleveland Cliffs that owns Dearborn Works, he's a super huge MAGA, big MAGA donor. He made the rounds on Fox News helping to push the tariffs by coming up with his own term, make American steel great again, all right? So what does he have to say to the 500 Americans that are now out of work and out of benefits? The tariffs are working exactly the way they're supposed to work. Quote, unquote. Another beautiful example of gaslighting that MAGA voters don't understand. He also gaslit all of them by saying, we just have to wait until the big three ramp up production again. He knows that there are tens of thousands of component parts that go into making a car. And that no matter what, GM, Ford, Chrysler have to purchase imported parts because we don't make them here. And that results in the increase in the price of the car at a time when a shit ton of employees have been let go, including from the federal government, at a time when people are struggling financially. And so they're not buying cars. And that's not going to change with this orange dude in Project 2025 in the White House. It's only going to get worse. But again, to the beginning, my original point, owners who support Donald Trump are also narcissistic gaslighters. So hopefully that's another 500 employees. I'm sure many of them voted for Donald Trump. Maybe they'll finally have something going on up here to see that they just sold out their own interests. Yeah.
We have breaking news. Trump's so-called manufacturing boom is dead. God damn! The economy just exposed him. 4 straight months of factory job losses.
Jesus Christ.
In August alone, 12,000 factory jobs vanished. Over the past 6 months, 80,000 jobs gone. That's not a boom, that's a body count. And it's the worst collapse since 2020. Damn! Trump swore tariffs would bring jobs back. Instead, factories are shutting down, demand is collapsing, and 69% of U.S. manufacturing is now in contraction. That's 2/3 of America's factory economy flatlining. And while real workers bleed, Trump hides behind corporate pledges. Apple, Ford, Big Pharma, they made big promises. But guess what? You can't feed kids on empty press releases. You can't pay rent on fake factory ribbon cuttings. Last part's the most important. The economy added a measly 22,000 jobs last month. Unemployment spiked to 4.3%, the highest in 4 years. Trump called this a renaissance. Nah, fam, this is a recession in disguise. 4 months of layoffs, 80,000 jobs gone. Call it what it is, the Great American Layoff. Let me know what you think in the comments.
So I hear that Amazon is going to put a number next to the price of a product on their website to designate how much the tariff is. At Montana Knife Company, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put a number next to the price as well. And that number is going to look a lot like the shape of this goose egg. Because we've been preaching this all along. We're American made, buy American. You don't have to worry about this shit. Buy American, make American made, and you don't have to worry about this shit.
1 week later.
2024, base price $519. July 23rd, 2025, base price $612. Couple interface upgrade, $14,900, $16,700. So this is my point, and this is what I'm getting at. We're trying to build American manufacturing. This is American-made equipment, 100% made in America. This stuff has an effect. Again, I'm questioning why is the cost of equipment to manufacture in America going up that drastically in 1 year? I'm not hating on the Trump administration. Again, I'm trying to point out that their policies need some adjustments. We should be focusing on finished goods coming in from overseas. We shouldn't be making the cost to buy equipment made in America for American manufacturers go up.
All right, guys, we've come to the end of this episode. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Hit the bell for notifications. Subscribe. Okay? And follow me on all my socials at Johnny Tamaya. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.